Good evening. I'm John Orsini with BSHM Architects. With me is Kent Serbiere. Kent is a principal with Boland Sawinski Jackson. In addition, our team includes Patricia Cawley, Drew Belzer, and David Kitchen with Boland Sawinski Jackson. Kate Spires, Mike Richetti, and Bill Cook with BSHM Architects. We are your project team. Throughout the project, you will collaborate with each of us at different phases, as well as our engineers. Today, we will share with you our approach and the opportunities of the conceptual design phase for your new high school. A community survey was the basis for the emerging themes that include campus, community, sustainability, and teaching learning. The conceptual design resulted from a series of meetings with both community and the Quaker Valley High School community. These Quakers provided insight on relationship between site and the adjacency of public access, location of site amenities to both neighboring communities, as well as the building's program. The conceptual design is about an understanding of the school, the community, and of its place within the larger context. The agenda in the presentation will include discussions, observations, and the project's design principles. Our approach is sequential. Each agenda item builds on the information and discussions from the previous events and activities. The process of the new high school begins with the community. The community was involved in discussions about site, about building, and about overall relationship between site, building, and community. In addition, this presentation includes discussions on conceptual design for both the site and the building. A building program had been established prior to the start of the conceptual process. Brain Spaces and Amy Yurko worked with the school district to provide a sense of what the place should be, as well as basically the rooms of your building, which includes the classrooms and gyms and those kinds of things. To gain familiarity with the established program, we provided this overview of the programmatic functions of the new high school as outlined in this pre-designed report. The program elements are separated into different categories, including the core learning spaces, the activity spaces, the learning and community commons, the administration offices, and the building support systems. The academic program elements form the foundation of the school and fulfill the fundamental learning needs for students. However, the activities and commons support that core learning and need to have adjacency to the core spaces. These adjacencies are studied during the conceptual design and schematic design phase. This is where we start to develop relationships, just like we talked about between the site and the building, between other activities within the building. This is the process that we're going through right now. The district has been preparing for this project for a number of years. The previous work included the development of the program with Brain Spaces. It also included the development of site amenities. The site program includes many amenities associated with a high school. This includes performance fields, green space, site access for the public way, and identity of Quaker Valley. Site circulation allows both buses and vehicular traffic to safely provide access to the building and other site program spaces. In addition, walking trails are being studied to take advantage of the new Quaker Valley High School site and associated views. In mid-September, we held the first community kickoff meeting. We invited individuals from across the district and the surrounding neighborhoods. In this open community session, 60 individuals attended. The intent was to provide an opportunity for the community to meet the project team, to provide an overview of the design process, and to collect direct feedback from the community about their thoughts and aspirations for what a new Quaker Valley High School can be. We held an activity to collect the community feedback, which would directly inform the project design principles. The activity was organized into 4 categories of campus, community, sustainability, and teaching and learning, similar to the online survey. The comments and feedback identified issues that both provide opportunity for site, as well as concerns of the overall community. Our understanding of the community began with site visits. The district scheduled a series of site visits at various times and days. Here, members of the community had the opportunity to walk the site and talk about the possibilities that this site can provide. Discussions included conversations on site access, building location, and the educational value of this particular place. In addition to site visits, the community participated in conference calls. The calls focused on community members' project aspirations, as well as concerns associated with a new high school. Aspirations range from educational opportunities of the site, spaces designed for a specific discipline, and a school that allows for educational innovation. The design team also had the opportunity to have discussions with Sustainable Swickley. This conversation included discussions on how the school can respect the environment and how the building can minimize energy consumption. Each group and call provided additional valuable information and thoughts on this project. A community service outreach was provided to gather information on opportunities for a new Quaker Valley High School. The collected information informed the project team about the overall emergence of ideas. These ideas helped define the guiding principles. The opportunities of the community to participate allowed the design team to understand place.
So in addition to the broader data collection, conversations, and listening that John was just describing, the team also worked with Quaker Valley teachers, staff, administration, and students to test the opportunities presented by the site. The study looked beyond the building, asking questions of both the site and the building. Questions like, in addition to the vehicular access points, where might there be opportunities for pedestrian bike connections? What do you see as you approach the school? What do you see from the various spaces within the school? These discussions, questions, and ideas have now coalesced into the core design principles and recommended approach for the design. We then began exploring the organization of the internal parts of the school. As a next step, the team tested several educational organizations. Each was studied in the context of the current educational needs of the district, but also examined for their adaptability and their ability to integrate new patterns for 21st century learning. These are the patterns that were included in the district's previous foundational planning and goals. We believe that there are certain specific aspects to each of these organizations that should combine to form the conceptual design and organization for the new Quaker Valley High School. We are recommending that the central heart of the hub, spoke, and the connection to the site, outdoor classrooms and workspaces in the courtyard diagram, and the universal access to daylight and views offered by the spine organization, each combine into the plans for your new building. This extended community engagement process has provided a fantastic opportunity for the broader community, parents, teachers, staff, and administration to be involved in all the key decisions of what this new building should be. From these meetings, we have developed a series of core design principles that now directly inform the design of the new school. All of that effort builds on the previous foundational work, programming, and planning studies, and coalesces into the plans for the new building. These design principles were formed by the larger community and now provide the framework and the recommendations on the site and building concepts for the Quaker Valley High School design. These recommended concepts make connections to the community, plan with smart, sustainable strategies from the outset, and are anchored around a student-centered learning commons. Building directly from this community input and these guiding principles, we are recommending a more compact organization along the center of the existing hilltop. This brings the performance practice field and the school closer together around a central campus green. The larger gymnasiums and auditorium are nested onto the slope with the classrooms organized along the top of the ridge. The Learning Commons, Media Center, cafeteria, and student spaces form the heart of the building and are nested in the center, framing a courtyard classroom and views to the south. This concept includes the programmed 500 parking spaces and leverages some terraced parking between the campus green and the performance field in a position where it can serve both the school's daily needs and after-school practices and activities. As John spoke to earlier, the circulation on this site is really going to be key. This diagram has Beaver Street along the south, Camp Meeting Road moving up the hill along the west. The vehicular circulation is shown here in red, with proposed pedestrian and bike sidewalks coming up along Camp Meeting Road and the lower access road to the site. This also indicates the proposed system of wooded trails for the site. These trails are proposed as a community asset with access points at Beaver Street and up near Camp Meeting Road and the tennis courts. The plan anticipates an independent drop-off location for the buses at the north side of the building and the cars at the campus green. This separation and the loops that are associated with it will improve efficiency and flow, but also safety. So nesting all of this, the bus loop, the parking, the fields, the school, all along the profile of the existing ridge, allows this plan to use the natural topography, the slope of the hill, to balance the program for the new Quaker Valley High School in an efficient organization that can leverage the natural assets of the site. This can also anticipate potential future growth and strategic additions. This preliminary sketch is looking from a bird's eye view over the central campus green and the learning lawn at the entry to the school. The building will sit along the ridge with the academic classrooms and activity spaces organized along the north. That's in the right-hand side of this image. And the larger gymnasium and auditorium nested onto the slope to the south. These volumes frame a central cafeteria and gathering space that spills onto the south terrace that you see on the left of the image here. The center of the building is the Learning Commons Media Center, Student Union, and Student Services. These all form the common heart that forms the entrance and the side of the campus green. The campus green that we were overlooking in the previous image is represented here in this sketch by the outdoor classroom space in the upper right-hand corner. This schematic plan is at the entry level of the building and begins to illustrate the proposed organization for the school. The campus green also frames the main entry to the building to the east. The bus drop-off pickup is along the north side, separate but adjacent to the practice fields, parking, and car drop that is to the east. The main entry of the school opens through and across to look over a cafeteria and pre-function hall that's to the south. This is a space that serves and is framed by the main gym and the auditorium. The two-story classroom and activity wing is set along the ridge to the northwest, opening to an outdoor classroom workshop in the center courtyard for the building. Open extended learning areas and teacher resource centers are centrally located within the classrooms and teaching spaces. All the rooms are organized with views and daylight. The activity paths, corridors, lockers, and stairs are all daylit at their ends, constantly reconnecting students, staff, and teachers to the natural wooded site. So following this quick introduction of this organization, John is going to look at and update where we are in the process and what the next steps are.
Schematic design is the first phase of the architectural design process. At this stage, your design team, with input from the Quaker Valley community, begins to describe the architectural and tectonic elements of the project's design. The team takes the programming and concept design and translates it into architectural and spatial designs. Most of us explore many ideas in this phase in order to achieve the best possible design solutions. This exploration includes spatial relationships of the building program or the relationships of teaching spaces to each other. We will explore with Quaker Valley what classrooms or teaching spaces want to be near each other. In addition, our work in this will include material study of the building, both interior and exterior. Two important components for a successful schematic design phase are site analysis and programming. Both the building program and location have significant implications in the design process. So it's important to have a solid understanding of these foundational components at this stage. This stage defines the project in both floor plan, building section, building elevations, and building mass. At this stage in a project, the design professionals describe the project three-dimensionally. We talked about the conceptual design phase. So this summer, we will be working on the schematic design. It's really a further development of all the thoughts and processes and adjacencies that have been established. We will be working with the district, the school, the students on these spaces and on specific of the spaces. We'd like to thank the board, the district, and the community for the continuation and development of this project. This is an update on the building and site development. The work included involvement of community, and this involvement provides a high school specific to Quaker value. The value of a collaborative and engaged community and stakeholders is key to a successful project, and a project that can only be Quaker Valley. That's an update on the current status of the project and where we are. Right now, we are in the schematic design phase. In the schematic design, we will work with teachers, staff, administration on specifics of the building and specificity of the rooms. We'll talk about adjacencies and how the whole building works together. In the fall semester, we will come back and present the schematic design to the facilities committee and to the board and to the overall Quaker Valley community. We'd like to again thank the board, the district, and everybody that's been working with us for the development of this project. This is an update on the building and the site development. The work included the involvement of the school, the community, students, teachers to provide a high school specific to Quaker Valley. We value collaboration, and this collaborative approach and engagement of community and stakeholders is key to a successful project, and a project that can only be Quaker Valley.